So, with some of these misconceptions that we've talked about, how do you help combat them when you're trying to start a product led initiative at a company to kind of help level set people on what to expect? Because unless they've worked at an organization that's had this before, oftentimes they're comparing it to sales led motions, or they have these misconceptions based on what they've read or seen that is typically only like the success stories and not necessarily like the hard work it takes to get there.
Yep. So the very first thing like we go through with companies is your strategy. So what does that look like for a company level strategy? How or is PLG even really core to how you're going to win? So I'll give you an example. I was recently interviewing David, who runs submagic.co. They make it like really easy to create like captions and really, if you think of like TikTok videos or like anything with like all those captions and graphics, they make that wildly easy. And so I was talking to him. I'm like, hey, like, what is your strategy to win? He's like, it really is these three things. It's like 3 clicks to value, and we're going to win with distribution, and we're going to have 10-star customer support. And so each of those 3 things are their moats of how they're going to win. And that's actually their only 3 teams in the whole business.
Wow.
And so when it comes to where does PLG fit into this business? Well, okay, how are you going to do 3 clicks to value without an amazing self-serve motion? Like, you have to just have that self-serve capability where now it's not just uploading a video, but it's adding the caption. All that stuff has to be really simple for somebody to accomplish that. And if you think of Canva or something like that too, it's like, how are you going to make it easy so you can democratize design for anyone? It's like, well, I can't see any world, remote possibility that that's going to be a sales-led motion. And so it has to be a high level of conviction, because you're going to need a high level of commitment to make this work. And so I always start with the first kind of principles of what is your strategy? How are you going to win? How are you going to stand out in your given market and really not just be a mediocre player, but become the obvious choice in one market for one ideal target market. And you can expand that obviously with horizontal applications and everything, but I truly believe early days you got to understand who is that one person where you're going to become the obvious choice, and there is no one else who could ever do it as best as you do in that space.